Now, let's go to our next speaker, Mr. Emanuele Dalla Libera from EUROFINS. Mr. Dalla Libera, the stage is yours.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, all of you. My speech will be probably a bit easier for most of you. May I ask to put the presentation on the screen, if possible? Thank you. Thank you very much. Let me introduce myself first and very briefly also the company I'm presenting today. EUROFINS is a multinational company, is basically a worldwide company. We are active in 4 different areas: food testing, environmental testing, pharmaceutical testing, and my division, which is product testing. I'm responsible for the southeast of Europe on behalf of our competence center in Denmark, which is the biggest lab in the world concerning VOC emission and content test. What I would like to discuss today is, we already talked about sustainability a lot. Probably you are pretty tired to discuss about this, but I would like to go a little bit deeper in detail about what does it mean on sustainability for human beings. This is the difference. But before to do this, I would like to give you a couple of numbers. You know, I had this information from Green Building Council Europe, and this is official number, more or less, because they are not defined for 2022. But this shows that sustainability market is really fast-growing market, and mainly in the south of Europe. Spain, Italy, and some other regions are very fast-growing in this market. And also Greece started more or less 15 years ago. The first project will be in 2008, and the first LEED goal has been defined, has been, won in 2013. And the last 2 years, you had 50% more projects each year. The speaker before, Decarbon, explained a bit deeper this information. So that means it is a wave. You can do anything. This is something will involve you in the coming years. What I would like to go in details now, it is like a binocular. It is the biophilic. There will be well representative here. Probably he will more detail on this. But now the sustainability scheme for a human being is really important, because they are not only something for the environmental, but also for the people living inside. Some studies, this is an official study, increase productivity by 15%, reduce stress of the people by 37%. That means less illnesses, less problem with the employees, a lot of problems solved. And at the end of the day, increase of building value by 11%. So in this big scope of biophilic, what we are talking about is indoor air quality, which is the biggest issues for the building materials, because as normally building materials are emitting, in some ways, dangerous substances. Dangerous substances means something that can affect human being. For example, allergic reaction, asthma, carcinogenic. Sometimes, if I think formaldehyde, you directly connect with carcinogenic effects. And this is the reason because a lot of countries in Europe define some mandatory rules. Mandatory like French, with A+ regulation, Germany, Belgian regulation, Italian regulation, and then there are some voluntary regulation, like in the Nordics, with M1 Finnish label. And other this, we have to comply also with some sustainability or environmental schemes. So there are a lot of different regulations. Hopefully, sooner or later, we will have one unique regulation all across Europe. But this is the reason, because we are testing. And I'm not going to discuss about technicalities. I'll be happy to explain you details about the test itself, but what I would like to explain you very shortly is we are representing a real situation, what the norm called model room. It is the same we are representing in the lab, with the same temperature, with the same humidity, and we are also using the same condition. If we are going to test this flooring, this wooden flooring, we have to prepare the product in the room in the same condition. If we are testing your paints, we are using a little bit bigger sample in the room. And at the end of this, we are basically sampling what the product is emitting in indoor air. Quite easy, to be honest. But at the end of the day, we are, in some ways, comparing the results with the mandatory regulation, the base of this finitary, the voluntary labels like eco labels, for example, or like Blue Angel. You had a lot of examples today. And at the end, what we can call hanging fruits, environmental scheme, which is LEED, BREEAM, WELL, the most famous, at least. I added Indora Comfort Gold, which is EUROFINS protocol, because it is all compliance in one stage. This is the reason because some companies already presented it. But let me go a bit focus on the sustainability schemes, how to comply with the sustainability schemes. It is quite easy because they define a new method according to German regulation and a couple of mandatory rules like low formaldehyde requirement and what they call LCI, lowest concentration of interest substances. You can also choose alternative compliance paths like EUROFINS Indora Comfort Gold, but like also EMI code, for example. Unfortunately, French VOC label A+ is not anymore compliant with the new version of LEED 4.1 and probably never for LEED, for BREEAM and WELL. Also, the Italian regulation alone or German regulation alone is not enough to comply with. I'm going to finish with a couple of slides, but let me clarify the topic. I had a couple of discussions today about VOC content, zero VOC or something like this. We are talking about two completely different topics. When we talk about VOC content, we are measuring something on the liquid product. So basically, we are looking for the quantity of organic compounds in the liquid products. And this is aimed normally for environmental care. Nothing with you, with your human being. This is the scope of VOC emission test. And when we are talking about VOC emission test, we are applying the product, and then we are checking what are the dangerous substances this product is emitting on indoor air. And here, the requirements are a little bit different because all the sustainability schemes are recently defined to comply with DecoPaint directive. The difference is you need to do a test in an accredited lab. Otherwise, you can also auto-declare, but for all wet applied products, they need to have a VOC content test according ISO 11890, part 2. This was necessary to at least a little bit elaborate the concept within VOC content and VOC emission test. Thank you very much to invite me today, and I'll be ready for even questions if necessary.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Libera.